Ugh!
Hey, where are all these people coming from?
Who are they? Who are these strange
Who
people?
are you people, and why are you on
Mike and
my
Frank.
computer this
Frank and
morning?
Mike.
Why are you wasting your Saturday morning with us? We're glad
Frank
you are,
and
though.
Mike show.
There we go.
Oh, just the two of them?
Yep.
So
Oh,
far.
okay.
That's fine. That's all we really need.
Hey, Uber Frank.
Well, yeah, they like an
We have a
entire
quorum.
audience, all on them by
Quorum,
themselves.
yes.
Oh, by the way, that meat is really, really good, and I still have the 3 bottles for you, Miss Stephanie.
Meat and
in the-
bottles.
in the
I'm just-
cabinet.
I'm intrigued.
3 bottles of tequila? Wow.
No, mead.
Oh, mead. I heard meat.
Mead.
I was a little
Yeah, I heard
confused
meat,
as to why
too.
there was meat in bottles.
Oh, meat? Yeah, I got some meat for you.
Where did you get the meat from?
Mead.
Oh, here's IHOL boxes.
Mr. Boxes.
I don't know when he flies. He's always on the show, which is great.
That's the only time he's ever on the show is when he's flying.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's flying right
That's what he
now.
does.
Yeah.
It's about the boxes don't care.
They
Yeah.
don't care.
Shingles doesn't care. I love that
Watching too
commercial.
much TV.
Shingles doesn't care.
very good.
My favorite
Great
commercials
echo.
right now are the guy who's teaching people not to become their parents. You know that insurance company thing?
I love that.
that.
Love-
Oh my God, I love that.
See, I got rid of television, and now I have no idea what any of these cultural references are.
Oh, he's on sick
It's a
leave.
great-
Sorry, IHOL. Sorry to make
It's
light.
a great commercial where people
Yeah,
are
those are
starting
great.
to act like their parents, and there's
I
this
know,
like
and the guy who's doing the
counselor
teaching is just
going,
great.
No,
No.
put it down.
we don't.
I'll have to see if I can find that one on the.
Oh, they're
YouTubes.
really good.
Yeah.
They're funny. You'll get a kick out of them.
Perfect.
All right. Well, this is part 2 of 543, which we started, day before yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is
It's
great
for
because we have
progressive
more.
insurance stuff. Progressive.
Progressive,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, Skype.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yep. Okay, here we go. Thank
Oh,
you.
recording.
Orders.
And recording.
Getting to know you. Biddle-dee-dee-dee-dee. Gurgle, gurgle.
And I should be back in the yard.
Here we are.
And
Yeah.
spin this.
3 shows a week. Hold in tight Patreons.
Yeah. Don't think it works
So,
like that. Thank
Tight
the
times. We're
Lord.
gonna have to
Yeah.
charge for all of these. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works.
Beer, 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 beer. Okay. That's the Skype ringing
It is.
sound. Hey, whoa! Who's doing that?
Not me. Didn't touch
Did
it.
I do that? I was trying to type in a different window,
Well,
but it could have been me.
Should I put it back?
here.
Oh, was it?
There we go.
Oh.
And by the way, if we accidentally do, well, you can't see it because we don't have any picture in here. Oh, we need to load the thingamajig.
Slides,
Yeah,
yes.
that thing.
Are they
Slides
there
here.
somewhere?
Present slides.
I
keynote
got 'em.
for-
I got 'em.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
if we, see, I don't like this view. This, no, I did that.
Oh.
Well, no, I'm not doing what? Here are my hands. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah,
this
that
I
doesn't
don't.
stop you doing things, Jeff.
I don't like this. I like this
with
better.
your
That's
prehensile
better.
appendage.
That's
that layout. Yeah,
Yeah, because you can see all of you.
yeah. Because I think first part at some point we had them like this, and I'm thinking, ugh, I don't like that. Anyway,
Much better.
okay.
Okay, so let's go over here. Get to know us.
And let's see.
Okay.
How's the volume on that?
It's soft.
Very soft.
It's fine.
Soft?
Yep.
Sorry.
Soft.
We don't like it when it's soft.
I know.
Story of
No.
his life.
That's what I've heard. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can adjust that over here on my panel.
Oh,
No. Maybe if I bump this up.
Keep your hands where we can see them. You're right, Frank.
Oh yeah, that should be better now. Here, let's listen to Radio Roger.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
How's the volume in that? Still soft? Low?
It sounds
bit.
okay to me,
Okay.
but the first one also sounded okay to me. So maybe. My
Yeah, it
brain's
sounded
starting
okay to me too. So how about?
We're going green. We're going green.
it
Still
just
too
doesn't sound
low?
as loud as it normally is. It sounds fine, but it's not.
It sounds, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
But it's
okay.
not
It's just
deafening
not-
like we're used to.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry.
quite loud.
Let's see if I can bump it up then.
Hi, John Abrams.
Don't you love the way that the little subtle, what is that called? Passive aggression?
think we've already-
Microaggressions.
It's,
We
it's
are
well
renowned
established
for
that
it.
That's what we're good at.
Yeah, we're very good at that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought I was the pro, the master at it. Apparently, all of us are really
Yours
good
aren't
at it.
microaggressions, they're macro.
Yeah, I tend to be more macro aggressive.
As passive as possible, but aggressive nonetheless.
Didn't Steffi give somebody a passive aggressive candle once? Wasn't
Oh,
Hello.
I think I did.
Yes,
Yep.
it? It was so perfect.
absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I found those candles were great.
I mean, it was,
think I had
it was
Canadian
perfect
one
that
for
Steph
Liz.
gave it to you, and it was perfect that you got it. Like, yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Liz, in so many different ways. All right. And now we're starting to kind of figure out exactly how people feel about you.
Well, you never really need to worry here, we'll tell you.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let me make sure that I'm in frame and turn that off or get this out of the way or something. I don't know. Yeah, we're still recording. And okay. Are y'all ready? I'm not going to do any
Already.
intros or anything like that. I'm just going to go right into getting to know us. And I'm not
Okay,
even sure
I'm ready.
what the heck I'm going to say. But all right. Here we go. Yes, it's that time of the show where we get to get all caught up with what everybody has been up to between shows. And let's see, who wants to volunteer to start this week's Getting to Know Us segment?
Nick Camacho.
Oh, thank you. Your voice changed. Nick Camacho, how you been doing, man?
Yeah, sure. It's been pretty busy around here. We had Halloween on Monday, so that was fun. My son is heavily into Top Gun, has led him into aviation a little more actively than he has been interested in it in the past.
Good.
So I told my wife that this is her. If you wanted to dress up as a pilot, this would be her one and only chance for me to be involved in a family costume picture. So we dressed up as a little fleet of pilots. We had all four of us dressed up in flight suits, and my son had a little fighter pilot helmet
Pictures.
on. And yeah,
Yeah,
I should've
where's that
I
picture?
should have given you pictures, but I did not. I did not think about it.
Well, I do. Here, let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Oh, I
Keep
found
talking, Nick.
Yeah, so that was fun. The weather was amazing. It was like a perfect night temperature wise, and it was clear and beautiful. So it was a lot of
Lovely.
fun. Trick or treating, and then beyond that, it's just been a pretty hectic couple of weeks at work. So trying to push through a couple of big things happening at work. Hopefully get over that hurdle next week. Got a couple of short little local flights in the Luscombe in the past couple of weeks, but that's about the extent of the flying that I've done.
Ah, great one.
Yep.
Love it.
And
That's awesome.
yeah, and then the other big thing was I had my written test for the power plant scheduled for yesterday, and that was the initial cause of me not being able to join the early portion of the show, and unfortunately got tied up with work stuff the last couple of days of the work week, so had to push that to next week. So hoping to get that done Monday or Tuesday of next week, and then get my work stuff squared away by the middle of next week, and then maybe things will slow down a bit. Probably not, but maybe. We'll see.
There's always
Somebody has an aggressor patch, don't they, on their flight suit there?
An aggressor
One of your
patch.
kids? Sorry?
An aggressor patch? I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
looks like it. That patch on your older youngster.
Older son. He has
Yeah,
a
that
top.
looks-
It's a Top Gun patch.
Is that okay?
It's like
it
the
looks a bit
actual
similar.
fighter weapons school patch that they wear in the movie.
Oh right.
So
Oh,
I got him
okay.
that, and we made, on my little laser, I made him name tags. There's some website like call sign generator, so everyone else got call signs. My older son is high tech, which you can see on his helmet, and you can't really read the name tags. But my wife was Eclipse, and
brilliant.
my younger son is Hype.
Brilliant. Well
Yep.
done.
nice. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Yeah, you do have a good-looking family for sure. Okay, let's see. Now I can go back over here and get rid of this. I remove from stream and stop screen sharing. There we go.
Actually, I've got a question. I was just looking through Facebook, and it seems in the States that a lot of people don't go to visit houses. They sort of have a do it in a car park,
Like trunk
with
or treat?
people.
It wouldn't work
Yeah,
in the
and
UK
I'm
because
trying
that
to
would have to
work
be
out-
boot or treat, and that just
Yeah, but I mean, what has brought that on? Are people frightened about going around to other people's houses
safety
nowadays? or something?
primarily.
I think
I-
it's just safety.
Well, and
and
knowing, and
convenience.
so a lot of times it's done at school, so people it's with their friends, and they all know each other, and then the adults know each other, and they can stand around and
Or churches. I always thought it
churches,
was
yeah.
weird that we went to a church one for a little while, but
And a lot of cities are and smaller communities are doing, like in the downtown area. I was in Madison last week, like in the middle of the week. It wasn't even close to Halloween, but it was like a Wednesday or something, and there were people dressed up in costumes. And then we walked into the place we were going to eat, a little Greek restaurant, and the guy's sitting there with a big bowl of candy, and kids were coming up, and I'm thinking, what's going on? It's like the 28th of October. Yeah, Frank, what's going on? Well, I mean, it just happened to be in Wisconsin, but I think that this happens a lot of different communities around the country. And I'm not sure exactly when that transition occurred, but because when I was a kid, which was a long time ago,
True.
is we went house to house and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I guess they still do that. Maybe just
they
not
do.
as much.
It happens in my neighborhood. I mean, not as
we
much, but
did it
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But for the 8th year in a row, I've had exactly 0 trick or treaters.
Oh, bummer.
Well, it's because
Well, they
my
found
house
out about you.
Steph's house is a little
my
challenging.
house is challenging
to get
and
to.
hidden, and which I love. This feature about my house means I'm not disturbed very often. It also means that delivery drivers like Amazon and UPS and things like that, and FedEx,
Just leave stuff in the middle of
they
the
have
street somewhere.
it set all over the place. I have to search my neighbors' front doors and
We put it in that
backyards.
bush.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
times now
somewhere
they
out
take a
there in
picture
there.
at least. So I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
what is that?
whose house is that? Where do I have to trek to
Where
to find
is
my
that?
stuff? Thanks, guys.
I love it.
Yeah, I sang at my. Oh no, well I can talk about that later. But anyway, yeah, I wasn't.
Why don't you carry on?
Well, why don't I? Okay, on All Hallows Eve, Halloween, sang at a mass at the All Saints Day Vigil Mass, and then I stayed away from the house. Made sure. Actually, when I left my house, I left the lights on here in the kitchen. And then I was driving, I got about halfway there, and I'm thinking, that's not good, because they're going to maybe think that somebody's home at the house, and people are going to be disappointed when nobody answers the door. So I turned back around. It was in the middle of traffic, too. But anyway, it was worth coming back, turning off the lights so that at least there were no lights on in the house, and people would go, yeah, it's got a for sale sign and there are no lights on, so let's skip
Now,
this one.
is that because you were worried about people tricking your house, so like throwing eggs at it or
Yeah.
breaking the windows or something?
I guess, yeah. I just that, and also I didn't want people to be disappointed.
It's mostly
like,
disappointment. It sucks
Yeah.
when you're a kid and you walk up to a house and the lights are all on and then nobody answers the door and you don't know how
So
long you
you
should stand and
kick
wait.
the door in.
It's like very uncomfortable. No.
So after
Joking.
the mass, so I thought, well, I'm just going to go over to Marlowe's Tavern, one of the local places here in Roswell that I really enjoy going to, and then the director, I guess her husband teaches at Georgia State, and has classes until 10 o'clock, and she said, you want to get something to eat for dinner? I said, yeah, I'm going to go over here to Marlowe's Tavern. You can be my date. So we had a very nice meal over there, and yeah, so that was my All Hallows Eve, and then the next day sang at All Saints Day at the church, and then Then the next day it was weird. It was a weird week because I am kind of purposely not picking up trips because I'm trying to leave enough room or margin in my schedule so that I can pick up some of these charters that are available that I can bid, but I know that I don't have to fly them, but I get paid for them anyway. It's a long story. It's part of the contract. And if I don't pick them up, then somebody junior to me will, and they'll get that good deal. So I would rather get the good deal. So it's just been an odd existence for me because usually I'd be like, okay, I got to pick up something to fly this week to fill up my schedule. But I did, yes, Liz, you're correct. I did find a couple of those things, and I'm still waiting for the charter flights that I can pick up and not fly for the weekend of the 18th and 19th. So it's just a kind of a weird kind of existence for me. But I did pick up a green slip, in fact, right after we recorded part 1 on Thursday. And, it's a good thing we only did a short part 1, because after I was finished with that and packing everything up, and I didn't have anything to drink, which is a very unusual, uncommon thing for me, not to have a glass of wine or a bottle of beer or something. So I had not for whatever reason. And then I got a text from my favorite first officer, Brent, and he said, hey, do you have a green slip in? I said, yeah. And he goes, okay, well, maybe I'll see you tonight. And I said, what? And he said that there was a trip that he was just assigned to fly that night to Wilmington, North Carolina, and then fly back on Friday afternoon. And so I kept looking, kept waiting. I'm thinking, now they must be doing something else with the captain part of that. And then it notified me that green slip was available, and I went, yes. And then I thought, oh, I'm not packed. I don't have my uniform ready. This is like, I just with my hair on fire.
Gotcha.
And then, all this stuff is set up right here on my countertop, and I got about half of it put away. And then I'm thinking, what the heck? If they want to show the house, then oh well. But they didn't. Then I got a call from scheduling that said, yeah, just wondering, because it was pretty tight, the amount of time that we had from notification of the trip to when the trip was, leaving. And he said, I'm just trying to get an idea of when you might be showing up at the airport. And I think he was pleased that I told him I would be there before departure time. So I texted Brent and I said, I think you have a head start on me, so I expect everything to be done. I'm just going to sit down, we're going to run a checklist, and then we're going to push back.
Seems like a pretty low threshold for an airline to expect their captain to show up before the departure time of the flight, Jeff.
It is a very low threshold.
Nice one.
That's the nice thing about these green slip, like short notice things. They understand that, or even a white, just a last minute trip assignment. They're just, as Liz just said, they're grateful to have somebody actually respond and show up to fly the thing. So, and I don't know. A lot of people that I've met, they don't get really too concerned about taking their time and just showing up whenever they show up. But I don't like that. I mean, I know that there are passengers waiting, and they're expecting that flight to operate when it says it's supposed to operate. And I just hate, disappointing people and making people wait. So I try to make every effort that I can to, get there. I'm a people pleaser. Yeah, sometimes to a fault. Right, Steph?
Yeah, discussion for another day.
Yeah. Anyway, this is not a psychological pilot guy show. But anywho, so that's what I did. I went overnight to Wilmington and had a great breakfast there yesterday. And Wilmington's a really, really nice little town, and the weather was great. And if anything, it was almost a little bit too warm. It was like in the 80s.
Yeah,
yesterday.
it's pretty warm here.
Yeah. And then just one flight back in the afternoon. And then when I got back, it was like about a little after 4 o'clock. And I'm looking at the traffic. It's Friday afternoon traffic, Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, not good. So I thought, maybe I'll just go over to this little place called the Paper Plane, a little Thai place close to the airport. I'll just go over there, have an appetizer, and just hang out, let the traffic subside a bit before I head home. So that's what I did. Isn't that just amazing, that incredibly active, full of adventure life that I live?
Hey, you did more than I did.
Thrilling.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry.
It all depends on your perspective.
Yeah, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, then, Nick, what did you do between?
Nothing.
And not talking about between now and part one. I mean, like the last episode.
All right.
342.
Well, perhaps I could
542.
explain my early departure from part one. So the week has been okay. I went and got a DJ. Which now Steph and
Disc jockey?
Captain Jeff will know what that is, because we talked about it on the last show.
Oh, yeah.
So I got myself a new dinner jacket, my old one being a Chinese knockoff one that I got on a Shanghai trip from the tailor's market, which cost me about, I don't know, $20. But I mean, it's like, it's hard to describe, but the bits of a suit that are supposed to be stiff. Now, I know you're gonna take this the wrong way, Jeff.
No.
But
No.
the lapels,
ladies and
they
gentlemen.
don't flop around, do they? They're supposed to sit there nicely and got a little bit of shoulder padding. Well, this was. This was just like floppy. The floppiest DJ I've ever had. Anyway, so it's not bigger. So I've got myself a new one because I have an occasion coming up where I'm giving an after-dinner speech at in December I'm talking about things aviation, to a motorcycle club, so I needed that. What else had I done? Of course, the doctor wanted me to have a scan of my intestines, which is not.
We all want that.
Yeah, exactly right. So I had to go for a CT scan, and the scan itself is fine. It's the 2 days of special diet, the 1 day of evacuating your 11 feet of alimentary canal. That is the unpleasant side, along with what they inject into your intestines through the wrong end when you're about to do the scan. This is an emergency. Evacuate. Yeah, which is not very pleasant. So those of you who've been through a procedure similar to that, you'll understand. Those of you who haven't, well, clench your cheeks and hope it never happens. So that just left me feeling a bit rough on the show yesterday. So anyway, that accounted for my swift disappearance. I'd had enough, sadly. Now, nothing much else happened. Coming up, what have I got? We go. My lovely wife and I. We've only got 2 Hungarian Wieslas, so we have been yearning to get back up to 3, which is our usual state of affairs. And it looks like there might be a young girl Wiesler who is looking for a new home. So we're off to meet them on Monday. So we'll see how that turns out. Can't say any more because, of course, it may not. But that's an interesting thing I'm looking forward to. And next week is also the annual F4 Phantom TDPU. So that's going to be brilliant. A TDPU is an Air Force acronym for an event that you tell your boss you're going on, making it sound like something very official that requires your urgent attention. So you go off to, I've got a Phantom TDPU to go to, boss. Oh, okay, off you go. And it actually
kind of like
stands-
Dr. Steph's conferences?
Yeah, very similar.
I just
It
booked my
actually
conference
stands
for February.
It actually stands for thinly disguised piss up. So it means that and it's on a Friday afternoon because that's when all the Ministry of Defence, service guys who are working in the Ministry of Defence, they get off early on a Friday. They can come to the pub. So it's held in a pub not far from the Ministry of Defence in London. So we are going to get together with, all the old F4 guys from all round the UK and Germany who used to serve, and have a few jars in a very large pub in London. What else coming up? I've got a talk at Brooklands. The Royal Aeronautical Society have asked me to give a talk to the Brooklands branch. That was the museum you went to, Jeff, when and you, Steph, when we did. I can't remember. Were you there, Nick? Don't think so.
I don't think so.
No. For the PTUK 400th.
Yes.
So I'm going there to give a talk to their members. And just looking ahead, a couple of weeks from today, there's a very nice chap who was one of our listeners called Sam, who flies United. Flies for United. And he's gets a London run every now and again, and we're looking to get together on the evening of Sunday, or the afternoon stroke evening, Sunday the 20th. It could be around my place, or it could be in London. We haven't decided yet. But if there is anyone who fancies joining us for a few beers, then let us know, and that may help us sway whether we do it in London or do it down here.
When is that again?
That's on Sunday the 20th, the late afternoon, early evening.
All right.
It's coming up.
Mark it on your calendars.
Right. So, if you're interested in having a few beers with us, you'd be very welcome, of course. We open these things up to everyone. So that's all on my calendar, I'm afraid.
Well, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. All right, Steph, what have you been up to?
I don't even have as much as Nick, oddly enough. That's we did this sometime around this time last weekend, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah, we did it on Sunday last.
Correct. Yeah. So I know we've already given, pretty detailed weather reports on all fronts here, but man, this week was gorgeous during the week, every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There was, I was supposed to be able to join you guys on Thursday, but there were airplanes in need of swapping around for 100-hour maintenance and things like that they wanted to make sure they had back for yesterday because the weather was looking so nice. So I was not supposed to be doing that, but one of the other folks who was under the weather a bit, so just in order to make sure that operations continued smoothly, jumped in and did a little bit of that flying, and it was a gorgeous evening for it. Nice, gorgeous day yesterday as well. Warm, like Jeff said. Not quite 80s here, but upper 70s for sure. Sunny, was able to get out of work at a reasonably early hour, and because it was so nice, and we'll get to the weather forecast for this weekend here in a moment, but it was so nice yesterday. There were a lot of fun jumpers out skydiving yesterday, so I went and joined them and got a couple jumps in the afternoon after work, which doesn't happen very often because usually there's not enough people to support flying that late in the evening, but there was a true sunset load, so I got on that one as well, so would not have been able to go again after that because it got dark. But yeah, just really, really pretty day yesterday. After work, as much as I could this week, just been outside enjoying the nice weather because I don't think it's going to stick around and last too much longer. Able to join you all today because I was supposed to be flying this weekend, but it's drizzling and it's overcast and it's gray and it's not very conducive to skydiving operations. So
Live a little. Come on.
yeah, I know, right? I mean, jumping in the rain is fun, right? Doesn't hurt at all when you hit
I think.
raindrops
And not
when
seeing
you're falling
anything?
through the sky.
Yeah.
And not seeing anything or knowing where the ground is. Yeah,
Watch out for that tree.
totally fine.
George of the jungle.
Yeah. So tomorrow's forecast actually looks kind of similar, so don't know that I'll get any flying in this weekend, which is a bummer because I was really looking forward to flying because I have not flown now for... Glad I did a little bit on Thursday, so yeah.
Well, some breaking news here from our live audience. Pip says of the Plane Safety Podcast, breaking news, climate activists have broken into the BizJet apron at Schiphol Airport, blocking movements. If you're a little backed up, blocking movements can be a very serious
as
thing.
someone who's
Some
suffered in
nickness.
that area, I can assure you that's not very pleasant.
And the other thing I just recalled, now I think we mentioned it on the last show that I updated the website, the bios on the website, and I think that some of them still need to be updated as well. We kind of talked about that during the Getting to Know Us segment last week. And I don't know if it's just a coincidence or what, but not just a couple of days after that, the website went down, and many of you probably saw that. And I know that I got several people that contacted us and said, "Hey, did you know the website's down?" I went, "Yes, I know." And scrambling to try to fix it, and got it fixed finally. But I'm not sure why the domain name got disconnected from the where the site is hosted, but it did. But as I said, it's up and running, and so that's why the last show probably didn't get to your podcast player until pretty late. I do apologize for that, but everything seems to be up and running just fine now. So we'll blame it on Nick Camacho and his bio and picture on the website. Yeah.
That's very sensible.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that we want to talk about before we move on? Oh, yeah, cover art. Thank you, Liz. There we go. Okay, last episode we entitled The Dead Parrot Show. And, yeah, Nick, why don't you kind of take us through this just masterpiece of parrotage?
Well, the story it was based on was the hot air balloon that did some low flying over a guy who kept some extremely rare parrots,
Expensive.
and 3 of them dropped dead from fright. So what we've got here is a hot air balloon full of APG gas with a couple of extremely powerful burners, as you'd need if you're going to kill parrots, powering it along. And we've got, in the classic Monty Python Dead Parrot sketch, we've got a parrot who has deceased and been nailed to his perch. There is another one who is lying in a coffin, a little red parrot floating away in the sea, I'm afraid.
That's the one that wasn't quite as expensive as the other.
Exactly. Yeah. Didn't get a proper funeral.
No.
It all takes place in a Norwegian fjord. And, of course, over and above them all is the choir Invisible, which, after the draft got approved, I added an extra face to the choir.
I was going to say, that's the first time I've noticed that right now. When we put that up there, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I didn't see that before. I'm in the choir of
Exactly.
angels.
Yeah, a choir of angels, and one devil has crept in. Actually, you're right on Death's shoulder there. I don't know
I
if you
know.
noticed that, because
I did.
Death has been included in the choir invisible, which I think is probably yeah, very good, very good. So you're sitting there with your tongue out, which I assume is your normal singing pose. Yeah,
Yeah, I usually stick my tongue out when I'm singing.
exactly, exactly. Yeah. So there you go. That was a bit of fun for the last show.
Oh, the show number Liz is talking about here in my control room ear. She says, very well hidden. I don't think I ever spotted it.
I didn't look.
Oh, I'm up. It's close to me in the choir of dead people. Somewhere. I don't know. I guess we'd have to zoom in to see it. What? Help us out, Nick.
Sorry, I was typing to Pip.
Show number.
Oh, the show number.
Oh,
somewhere.
the show number. Okay, zoom in on the choir invisible, and
I'll do that.
Can't zoom in on it.
I don't know.
All right, zoom in. Anyway, it's somewhere up there, apparently.
Yeah, look on Death's the guy with the skull head and the spear. Look on his clothing, and you'll see it's larger than you imagine. You'll find the show number spread
That's what
out
she said.
That is what she
around
said.
Oh,
there.
yeah. Oh, I see the 2.
Is it
Yeah, the 2's on his leg.
Uh-huh.
The 4 is obviously left of that, and the 5 is further left of that.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see now. Got it.
You happy?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know about anyone else. Good luck.
Yeah. All right.
They
well,
were
that was...
they were very obvious when I first put them up there. So for this actual one, the one that with your face appeared in, I made them a little harder to see.
Yes, you did.
Anyway,
Yep.
good luck.
And did you change the position of that little cherub that was sitting in the coffin?
In a different position on the square one to it is to this one, but no, that's I think
Oh, okay.
that's more
Maybe
or less
I'm
where it
thinking.
was.
Maybe I'm thinking of the square. The square
Yeah,
one. Okay.
There's a little stone cherub sitting in
Yeah.
the coffin to keep the other dead parrot happy.
Well, that was just beautiful, Nick.
Yeah, I
Beautiful.
thought you might like that.
Yeah, very colorful.
And the
All right.
APG gas has got a skull and crossbones on because it's not good to be close to that stuff.
No.
I'd stay far away.
Oh, and as Liz mentions in the, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm repeating what Liz is saying and you're thinking, I can hear what she's saying, Jeff, is that right now when we're recording live on the video, I'm the only one that can hear Liz. And she said that the APG gas was very, very apropos, especially considering the recent procedure that Captain Nick just endured.
Very true. Yes.
So I think it's time now to go to the coffee fund. What do you think?
Please, I'd
Right.
rather get off this gassy subject.
Yes.
Johnny, how much more coffee? No thanks.
I love coffee. I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, yeah. Oh, nice, Liz. The Coffee Fund is your way. I mean, there are many, many ways to support our show. But the Coffee Fund is the way that you can support us financially. A couple different ways to do that, and you can find out more about these different methodologies by going over to airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. And the first one is the APG, or the Coffee Fund OG, the original donation method, classic method we'd like to call it, where you can make a one-time donation, or a couple times a year, or a couple times a month, whatever. You can also do recurring donations using that mechanism as well if you'd like. Although, we'd prefer that you use the Patreon kind of method. You can become a patron of the show via Patreon. And so both of those ways, like lots of ways to become part of the Coffee Fund cadre. And this week, go ahead, Liz. Yeah, sad puppy. No new patrons and no contributions. So, but we do appreciate all those who are keeping up their recurring contributions and our dedicated patrons. Thank you. We love you. All right. And that is it. And now I guess we continue with the feedback. And I'm not going to play the feedback bumper again. So let's, I think Nick is in the dark for some reason. Okay. Let's go over here to Evernote and start with number 7. All right, this is from Texas Charlie, and he says, I've got $5 that says you've received at least 100 feedback emails about this. Turns out, I think he's, you need to send the $5 to us, Texas Charlie, because you're the only one that sent this in. He says, howdy crew, looks like Southwest Airlines slogan, quote, low fares, nothing to hide, was taken too literally by this guy. Seriously. To me, this incident is a great reason for cockpit video recording. Yeah, I'm not sure we'd want to see this. Of course, if a complaint had been made immediately, the cockpit voice recorder could have been pulled to use in the investigation, but a closed-circuit television recording is priceless in any harassment or assault-related inquiry. And with the long overdue ingress of female pilots into commercial aviation, sexually related issues will come to the forefront again and again. So most importantly, let's all not think about a 65-year-old male airline pilot sitting naked in the left seat. And this is again from Texas Charlie, and the link is to NBCDFW.com, and the headline, Pilot Sues Southwest, Colleague Pleaded Guilty to Stripping Naked. And again, this is NBC5, Dallas-Fort Worth. A Southwest Airlines pilot is suing the company, her union, and a former colleague who pleaded guilty last year to deadbolting the cockpit door during a flight and stripping naked in front of her. Christine Janning alleges that Southwest retaliated by grounding her after she reported Michael Hack to the company and the FBI, that it kept him employed despite an alleged history of sexual misconduct, and that managers disparaged her in memos. She also, I hope he had his airdrop off. Yeah, thank you, iHaul Boxes. Yeah, I guess the recipient of all his glorious nakedness was just the first officer in the cockpit. All right. She alleges that the Southwest Airlines Pilots Association, the union, conspired with the airline and refused to support her. She's suing Hack for sexual assault. He pleaded guilty last year to a federal misdemeanor charge of committing a lewd, indecent, or obscene act and was sentenced to probation. His attorney, Michael Salnick, said Wednesday that his client disrobed only after Janning encouraged him to and never did anything else. Southwest said it supported Janning and that it will vigorously defend itself against the lawsuit. The union did not respond. Yeah, so as long
as you didn't do anything else, like flapping around or...
Yeah. And why would you think that would be something that would be appropriate? I don't know.
Yeah.
According to the lawsuit filed in Orange County, Florida, Janning had never met this captain before August 2020 when she was his co-pilot on a flight from Philadelphia to Orlando. What a great way to introduce yourself.
I don't like shaking hands.
Yeah, here, shake this. She says Hack, a 27-year-old veteran of the airline, had used his seniority rights the previous day to bump another pilot who had been scheduled to command the flight. Janning believes that's because he saw a woman was the scheduled co-pilot. She said that when they reached cruising altitude, Hack told her this was his final flight and there was something he wanted to do before retirement. She said he got up, bolted the door so no flight attendant could enter. He then put the plane on autopilot, stripped off his clothes, and began watching pornography on his laptop I thought he said he didn't do anything else. and
Yeah.
And committed a lewd act for 30 minutes. Use your imagination. While taking photos and videos of himself. Oh, good. It's good for the... Yeah, master of the cockpit. Yeah, of his domain. Actually, no, I guess he wasn't master of his domain. After the sentencing hearing last year, he called the incident a consensual prank that got out of hand. Yeah. This is horrible. Why would anybody think that this would be okay? Yeah.
I don't have even a good response for that. I'm not sure. It's not okay.
No.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. Is it seems like we see these type of stories in like all industries, and they pop up like once a month, and it's just mind blowing to me that, you know, like this guy is a guy who's been able to put together a complete career, right? Made it to the very end of his career, and then his decision making is just so horrible. Like he says, like you kind of intimated, Jeff. He was like, all I did was took all my clothes off. I didn't do any of the other stuff.
After she said it was okay, when I asked.
Really?
Yeah.
That's.
I'm sure
right.
she wasn't like,
Hey,
yeah, it's okay.
I have an idea. I'm thinking about taking all my clothes off and sitting down here. Are you okay with that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Right.
I mean, I can see a sarcastic reply, you know. But
Yeah, it's baffling.
Yeah.
no.
And you know, I kind of imagine what my last flight was going to be like. I never got to do it in the end, but
You weren't going to get naked?
no, I wasn't. I'm trying to imagine what thought process would have led me to believe that this was an appropriate thing to do on my last flight. And I'm sorry, I doesn't matter how much of imagination I use, I just can't get there.
Let me scratch that off my list of things to do on my last. Apparently,
The true value of this show
apparently
will
that's
help you
not-
with your decision-making process.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And
probably
what's more, I'm very disappointed with the company's response and the union's response. You know, I think this poor lady got subjected to a pretty awful 30 minutes. In fact, the entire flight would have been a bit of a nightmare, I suspect. And you can't just brush that under the carpet. I'm sorry, you don't do that in this day and age.
Oh, let's see. Pilot Pip says, a colleague of mine told me a very funny tale of the time he and his FO flew an empty positioning flight completely naked in an attempt to embarrass the flight attendant. It didn't work. She stripped off and sat on the jump seat. Wow, okay.
All right.
Interesting. That's the other way this could have gone, you know.
Could've.
You know, I just wonder, had something happened and they ended up impacting the ground and the safety board started investigating? I'm
Not sure why everybody was naked on this flight.
Well, yes. What on earth they would have made of the fact that no one on this flight was wearing clothes?
Not sure. Yeah, Liz is saying they all got ripped off in the crash. Obviously. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, okay. Just
Okay.
don't do it, people.
No.
Probably,
Please,
yeah. So Charlie,
Even if you
send...
think it's going to work out and everyone's going to have a good time and it's going to be a joke, not a good idea.
No.
No.
Don't do that at work.
Right. And how? I mean, that doesn't even seem like a good joke.
No. Like, what's
No.
so funny about that?
Plenty of funny
Or
things
prank or
I
whatever
can
he
think of
said.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like getting a fire engine to cover your airplane in foam. That's quite amusing.
Well, that's another way to
It's
go.
happened.
When they were supposed to shoot water instead
Water,
of
yeah,
foam.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
end of the flight, you get those 2 arches of
Yeah.
water, and you know they squirted a load of foam instead.
Is this?
by
Are we
accident.
getting your real last flight prank that you wanted to pull, Nick? You wanted to just coat your last Virgin airplane in foam as you.
No, I was
walked
just
off?
going to keep the airplane. I wasn't going to bring it home. That was going to be my retirement present to myself.
Good one. Mike Kuiper's in
For the
the
win.
live audience. Have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah, great quote.
From the airplane
Do
movie?
you like movies about gladiators?
Yes. Do you like to hang around men's?
Oh no, I wonder if we can get a show title out of that.
Have you ever seen a grown man naked? Oh yeah. Okay. Plenty of fodder there, I guess. All right. Boom. All right. I think we've beaten
I think we've seen
the
enough
dead horse
of
on
that.
that one. Yeah, we have. Okay, let's continue with the next item from Sam Bolog. You must have seen this clip, so I sent the short version. It reminded me of the turbo encapulator. And we'll just play just a little snippet of this video, and I'm sure many will recognize it.
I'm going to need some pliers and a set of 30-weight ball bearings. What? Yeah, tell you what, I got to go to my truck. If Fred gets here before I'm back, you can tell him to start without me.
What the hell you need ball bearings for?
Oh, come on, guys. It's so simple. Maybe you need a refresher course. Hey, it's all ball bearings nowadays. Now, you prepare that Fetzer valve with some 3-in-1 oil and some gauze pads. And I'm going to need about 10 quarts of antifreeze, preferably Prestone. No?
Anyway, that's a little snippet of a movie called Fletch. And the actor's name is...
Chevy Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Chevy Chase. Thank you. I just drew a blank. I can't remember his name. Anyway, thank you, Sam, for that. That was kind of fun. Hopefully we won't get in too much trouble for playing that clip.
That's what Nick C's been watching to prepare for his exams.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's actually what was running through my mind.
Yeah, so, it's all ball bearings. And they're going to go, what? What's he talking about? Yeah, put some 3-in-1 oil on that.
Some gauze pads. What?
Yes, gauze pads and antifreeze, preferably Prestone. All right. I wonder if you did say something like that, if somebody would go, yeah, I think I know where you're going there. Anyway.
You have to pick the right moment.
Yeah. Yeah, don't start off with that.
No.
That's my advice. All right, Alex from California on the subject of rockets as airliner propulsion. Now, we talked about on episode 539, he said recently in 539, there were some musings on the future of rockets as aircraft engines as a random... Oh, that's right. Greg Peterson also, earlier in this show, Greg Peterson also kind of chimed in on the rocket engine propulsion thing. But as Alex from California says, as a random nerd on the internet,
Nerd alert!
it is my self-assigned moral obligation, to utterly smash your hopes like a middle school bully stepping on a cotton ball cloud diorama. Sorry about this. Wow, that's really specific.
That's mean. That's just pure meanness.
Yeah. So what is... Did you do something like this, Alex, when you were in middle school?
Sounds like it.
Anyway.
He seems to know an awful lot about it.
He does.
Professing to be a nerd.
Yeah, it might have to have something to do with that. Before I get to the meat of this, I want to say there are a lot of issues that could be brought up here. The fact that historically a significant percentage of rockets explode violently while on the launch pad, or that rocket engines have very limited lifespans, both come to mind. I actually will skip those since in theory those could one day be solved. I think Musk and SpaceX is kind of, helping to solve that by reusing rocket engines. Anyway, the core problem is that jets are always going to be way more efficient than even the most efficient rockets. The thing that separates rockets and jets is that jets burn their fuel using the oxygen in the air, and rockets carry their oxidizer with them. This oxidizer can be pure oxygen in tanks or something more spicy like chlorine gas or dinitrogen tetroxide. The fact remains, on a rocket you have to carry this stuff with you wherever you go. Imagine having to lug around an entire second set of fuel tanks on a transatlantic flight. In all seriousness, this fact is a bummer to me too. There's tons of nuance to this issue, and there are a lot of what about X technology ideas that appear to solve this issue. But at the end of the day, the reality is that air-breathing jets will always be more efficient than rocket engines. Keep the blue side up. And again, this is from Alex from California. And he said, you don't need to read anything past this on air if you don't want to, but we want to. So it sounds to me like he's giving us permission for this. He says, P.S. If you ever want to talk about wacky alternative aircraft propulsion options that are more practical,
I like the other version. Everyone will walk about tacky alternatives.
Quit making fun of me. It's like you're crushing my diorama.
Your cloud, cotton ball cloud
cotton
diorama.
ball cloud diorama. Anyway, he said, if you ever want to talk about wacky alternative aircraft propulsion options that are more practical, I would be super happy to. Solid fuel air-breathing ramjets and hybrid rockets come to mind. Alternatively, if you want to talk about rocket-related matters, I have some quite insane stories I could link you, like the time Rocketdyne made an engine that ran on liquid lithium, gaseous hydrogen, and liquid fluorine. The book Ignition comes highly recommended as well, even if, like me, you can't understand most of the chemistry. Yeah, I guess that's another one that we should add to the APG library. Tiffany, are you listening?
Yes,
Ignition.
definitely. There'll be people signing that book out all the time.
Someone will want me to read it on air after I've had a beverage at some point, I'm sure.
I just can't go to sleep. Here, let me read Ignition.
Yeah.
No.
I think the point was that we know that conventional oil-based fuels are eventually going to run out, and we were discussing alternative fuels, and I don't know, rocket fuel, is that an alternative fuel? How do you manufacture these chemicals that you've been referring to? Is it something we can get without having to dig it out of the ground or pump it out of the ground? I think that was kind of the point. It wasn't so much that rockets are efficient. We know they're not. They expend an awful lot of energy to propel a relatively small payload. But and you're right. In some cases, if you're going to go outside the atmosphere, you would need an oxidizer, and probably to make them even burn, you need an oxidizer inside the atmosphere. I don't know. But can we create an aircraft that flies on rocket fuel that doesn't have to be part of what you suck out the ground, oil? I don't know. I'd like to know the answer to that, Mr. Alex from California, where all the rocket motors are built, probably. Is he work for the Jet Propulsion Lab in California?
I don't know. He seems to know a lot about rockets and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Liz is saying, is Alex his real name?
Yeah, if we don't know.
And is he? Yeah. Oh, it could be Elon. Yeah. I'm sure that he watches our show and listens. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Alex. Much appreciated. Continuing. Kevin says, hello, Captain Jeff and crew. He's a Canadian. My name is Kevin. I am from Cornwall, Ontario, Canada, about an hour from Montreal and an hour from Ottawa. I'm not a pilot, but an av geek. I fly on my computer simulator for a virtual airline. Let's call it Acme Virtual. I have been sad to miss out on the last few Montreal meetups, but hopefully soon there will be more. As I write to you, I'm sitting in Miami International Airport after my 5-day cruise with my wife. This is our
excuse me, I'd like to know who does Kevin's flights when he's on a cruise. Shouldn't he be taking his computer with him so he can do his virtual flights?
Oh, yeah.
How committed are you, Kevin? I'm a bit worried about this.
But it's his honeymoon trip, Nick.
I'm sure
it doesn't matter, you know.
Wife arranged for some time off. Someone
Think
covered,
of all
someone
those
covered
virtual
his trips.
passengers sort of disappointed because you're on a cruise instead of doing your virtual flying.
Yeah, but if you continue with this sort of reasoning, he's going to have a virtual wife, not a real one.
Well, that's a good question. Can we see pictures, please?
Okay, let's move on. So he's on a 5-day cruise with his wife. It's their honeymoon trip. We got married a month before this trip, and it's our dream
Anyway,
trip.
congratulations on your recent nuptials.
Yes. We flew.
Swiftly backtracking by Captain Dick there.
Yeah, very sincere, by the way. That
Also,
sounded.
yes.
It was meant to be.
Yes. We flew Air Canada from Montreal to Miami to reach our cruise. We decided that we also wanted to visit New York City for a week on this trip. This is where Acme comes into play. We flew on an Acme 737-800 from Miami to New York. We got to the airport about 5 hours early for our flight, which for me was amazing because I love watching the aircraft take off and land. My wife, not as impressed as much. Not as impressed as much as I am, but still playing along with my, ooh, look at that plane. I even got to see my favorite aircraft, the 757-200, get pushed back, taxi, and take off. On this
you
trip,
can
we
always
flew,
tell them because they leave a little trail of nuts and bolts behind them as they get pushed back.
That might be actually true. On this trip, we flew on the A220, A319, and the 737-800. That's my little intro. Looking forward to sending more feedback as time goes on. Thanks for the great show, and thanks to Liz for keeping you all in check when Steph
She can't keep me in check. She's not. She's not in my
We're gonna have to put
ear.
Liz in Nick's ear too.
Yeah.
Captain Nick's ear.
He says, Blue skies, tailwinds, and a good IPA after your flight. I'm all for that. Kevin from Canada.
Very good. Very good feedback. And I'm very glad to hear you got married and that you took your wife on a lovely holiday.
Yes.
To the airport for 5 hours.
And if you're listening to this and you want to introduce yourself to the community, please send it in, just like Kevin did. All right. I need to load up a video here. I loaded up one, but it was for a different feedback. So here, let me take care of that quickly. And here we go. Thank you, Liz. She says 6 minutes from the 1 hour mark. How long are we going to be going on today's show?
Well,
yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe an hour 45. I don't want to do too much. Okay. Is it this one here?
Walt Disney's company.
Yep. Okay. Let me cue it up and get back here to the note. 11. All right, this is from Texas and LaShock. Mickey Mouse 1. Dear Captain Jeff and APG crew, it's always fun when I get to mix two or more things I love. Obviously, aviation is one of them, but I'm also a big fan of Disney. Recently, Disney had their D23 Expo, their big event where they have conferences press briefings, and make a lot of their big announcements and some conceptual plans that they have for future projects. At this year's D23, however, they had a surprise for aviation and Disney history buffs: Walt's personal Gulfstream 1. The aircraft was acquired in 1963 to enable Walt a place to be able to work while he traveled, something he couldn't do flying commercially. After his death, it continued to serve the company for many years, even appearing in a couple of movies before becoming a part of the backlot tour at the Disney MGM Studios, now Disney Hollywood Studios. That attraction shut down in 2014, and the plane was just left there until now. After being presented in its restored condition at the Expo, it was moved to its permanent exhibit at the Palm Springs Air Museum, not far from one of the Disney family homes. Walt famously had a fascination with all things transportation. Tomorrowland was practically a shrine to it, so it comes as no surprise that he would want a plane of his own. I've included a couple of links, one to the D23 video about it, and one to a Business Insider article, kind of a photo essay about it. That's all for now. Clear skies and tailwinds. This is Texas and LaShock signing off. And let's take a look at the video that talks a little bit about Mickey Mouse 1.
Walt Disney's company plane was a great source of pride and joy. In 1964, during the top-secret Project X, Walt upgraded to a sleek Grumman Gulfstream 1, which helped him survey land in Florida. With this postcard, we reveal stories from Walt's plane, from the office of Walt Disney.
Walt's plane.
Walt's interest in private aircraft for business purposes started with a smaller airplane, piston powered, and the next one had turboprop. And very quickly, Walt said, well, let's get a bigger airplane, a corporate airplane. Of course, the Gulfstream at that time was propeller driven. The Model G1 was the corporate airplane to have. All of the airplanes that Walt used, they all were called the Mouse. It was logical. We had a mouse on the tail. When you buy an airplane, whether personally or corporate, you do apply for your what we call a tail number. In this particular case, they did want Metro, which would be a Mickey Mouse, and then any numbers in the front. And luckily, they found that instead of a 1, 2, 3, they found a 2, 3, 4. Air traffic controllers across America, when we called in as Mickey Mouse, they were thrilled. That's Walt Disney. He's going right through our control zone. So it was a two-way street. We had fun, they had fun. The New York World's Fair, we were transporting people back and forth all the time. Of course, the Florida project came along.
It gave him an opportunity to save a lot of time and to work and to put the right people together when he wanted to go somewhere.
And it didn't take very long for Walt to figure out, say, we do sales junkets, we do film promotion, we do character promotion, live actors, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, etc. Say, that's a terrific presentation tool. We'll land someplace, and out comes all our cast members pouring out of the airplane. The airplane becomes show business.
Walt had one particular seat in the plane where on the wall next to him under the portholes there was a phone where he could talk to the pilot, and there was an altimeter and an airspeed indicator, so he could sort of keep track of what was going on with the airplane.
Anyway, so we're not going to play the entire thing. We played a good portion of it. Very interesting. We'll have a.
I was very disappointed with those instruments that the altimeter didn't have Mickey Mouse fingers. Fingers on it. Just
really,
the clock.
A missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And it looks like, to me, it looks like it's the cabin altitude and cabin differential, but is it also the aircraft barometric altitude as well? I guess it is.
Well, it looks like it says cabin airspeed, and what's the other one? Twin needles. What's that?
Yeah, as I say, I think
left?
part of it is the pressure differential, because, diff pressure it says. So maybe that interscale is the PSID, hang on, I should have had that ready. It could, no, not that. no. Hell.
Walt Disney would be proud of you, Jeff.
The Delta P?
You're fired. Okay. It could be PSID, or what we like to say, Delta P. Wow, all that for a stupid bell sound. Anyway, I'm going to leave all that in there. That's kind of entertaining, isn't it?
Well, certainly, I think that's it's an odd selection of instruments to have. I suspect they just said, we've got some simple instruments we could stick up there. He's not going to know what they mean. So,
although, I don't know, they kind of indicate that he was quite knowledgeable when it comes to aviation-related thing. But I don't know why they called it cabin airspeed. I mean, wouldn't it just be the airspeed of the aircraft?
Yeah.
The whole thing
the cabin's going at a different speed. Yeah.
Anyway.
Left behind that way. I don't know.
That's pretty cool. Anyway, we'll have a link to the video in the show notes, and you can watch the entire thing. By the way, do you have any idea? I wondered about this, and I had to look it up. What is D23? What does that stand for? Does anybody have any idea?
D must be Disney.
I was wondering, but I have no idea.
Yes, D is Disney. It's
so is it
like,
what's being revealed in 2023?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
But that you're kind of warm when it comes to
was 23 the year that Disney was founded as a company?
I think so. Yeah, that's when I think
when he started. Yeah.
Oh well, you mean next year's going to be the 100th anniversary?
I think so.
Wow,
yeah, pretty.
That'll
big
be
deal.
a big year for Disney.
Oh yeah, that's what we should do. Good idea, Liz. We'll go to Disneyland or Disney World. That's probably, I don't know, one of those, or maybe both for my retirement.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah, so all that, and the article to which he referred is also will be linked in our show notes. All right. Anything else to add or whatever to that?
No.
Okay.
Cool airplane.
Let's, yeah, really. And the other thing that I was going to pique my curiosity, now we know of Gulfstream is it's like its own company, but apparently it started with Grumman Aviation because it's the Grumman Gulfstream 1. And I'm not sure exactly the history behind that. I'm wondering if it somehow spun off into its own separate company, because I think Grumman continues to be a separate company, aren't they?
Yeah, they were.
Well, Northrop. It's Northrop Grumman.
Northrop Grumman. Okay. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. All right, let's continue with this item from Chris. How are passenger and baggage weights calculated? He said, on a recent trip to Spain, we're allowed 22 kilograms of hold luggage and 10 kilograms of cabin luggage. So my question is, if there's, for instance, 100 persons on board, how do you know the combined weight of the passengers? They could, in theory, all be overweight and heavier than what's normal, if you get my meaning. And then you're allowed to bring back 4 liters of alcohol each, so therefore it's possible to have 400 liters on board. Yeah, not very likely. More weight. Also, they could have extra bags of presents or handbags, more weight. So how do airlines work out the possible payload of a particular flight? Thank you. And again, this is from Chris Varney in Northamptonshire, UK. And let's see. So, here's a chart that I broke down. This is from the new FAA standards. They ended up increasing the weight of an average adult passenger and carry-on bag to 190 pounds in the summer and 195 pounds in the winter, which is up 12% from 170 and 175 pounds before. And based on all these weights, the load masters will plan on where baggage is to be loaded in the cargo hold to ensure the aircraft is within balance, and then how much fuel can be loaded and remain under the aircraft's maximum takeoff weight limitation. Even though these are averages, the aircraft manufacturer has ensured on a typical flight the aircraft will never come close to its weight and balance limitations. Factors are added in for passengers moving up and down the aisles, for bathroom breaks, cabin crew serving meals, etc. Most modern airliners have a sophisticated onboard weighing and balancing system, really, that ensures the calculations are correct. I mean, that's news to me. Apparently, I don't fly a modern airliner, and will automatically trim the aircraft in flight to maintain balance when there is a lineup of people waiting to use the aft bathroom, for example.
Man, there's nothing worse than when you've got the airplane trimmed like just perfectly, and then one of the, especially on my airplane, like a videographer decides to like get up and turn around to do an interview with someone jumping for their first, and you're like, ugh.
So on a smaller airplane like the ones that Steph flies, I mean, it's a significant difference when people shift around.
Oh, yeah.
On the larger an airplane gets, the less of an effect that it has. And then I guess what they're alluding to here is the autoflight system, is maintaining altitude so it uses the slower speed trim system to constantly adjust for, when fuel's burned off and everything else. It's always making trim adjustments to keep everything just right.
I think it's important to say that that's called the autopilot. That's not like a weight and balance system.
No,
That's just
it's
how
an
autopilot works.
That's a sophisticated onboard weighing and balancing system.
Very
on,
sophisticated. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always amused by these average weights. It probably does work out. I don't know, if you take a look around the cabin of an aircraft and see who's actually on and guesstimate what they might weigh.
I was going to mention there was a crash in Charlotte 20 years ago, maybe. The 1900 that crashed in Charlotte, they actually found that, I think back then they were still using 170 pounds, and that airplane was overweight because they were saying passengers were 170 pounds, passengers and baggage were 170 pounds, and it was hundreds of pounds overweight.
But there was also some kind of a mechanical malfunction.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details on that.
So the overweight part of it did contribute to the fact that they had a tough time trying to recover from it. I think it was like a out of trim full aft or something, and the thing just went straight up basically, and they couldn't push it over.
It was Air Midwest 5481.
Air Midwest 5481. Okay.
Yeah, and this
the plane climbed steeply as a result of higher than calculated weight on the aircraft that generated incorrect CG readout.
It is critical to have that.
580 pounds above max takeoff and center of gravity, 5% to the rear of the allowable limit. Neither problem would have caused a loss of control, but together, right? So it's like what you said. If the trim system worked, they probably would have been fine.
Right.
But I'm just making that point because this article we read said something like it'll make sure, will remain well within limits or something.
Yeah. You're talking about that sophisticated onboard weighing.
At least in America, I think if you look around a general, any airline that's departing, especially nowadays when it seems like they're all full again, 190 pounds for a person and all of their carry-on baggage could be a little bit of a joke sometimes.
Oh, I agree, but don't forget it's an average for the entire load of passengers, and particularly for low-cost airlines where passengers are having to pay to take on cabin bags and load bags into the hold, and if they're overweight they'll be charged. I think there's a lot of people who pack very light nowadays and are probably taking the overall average are probably below their required weight. So I don't know, I reckon there's quite a number of flights that will go off below the estimated weight. And don't forget the control authorities like CAFA do at times carry out audits on passenger bags and passenger weights on flights just to see if the numbers are still working out. And certainly for every accident and incident they'll have a look at that if it's a factor. So and we have seen them increase over the years as our average weight of the average person goes up. So that, I suspect they probably lag behind a little bit, but I certainly think there is an attempt to keep those accurate.
And I was just looking at a spreadsheet for some charter flying, like a team, athletic team charters, like football players and that kind of thing. And they actually do bump up the average weight numbers for these charters because they know that they're not average adult or female passengers. So
certainly on some of our flights we always kept a very close eye. There were some flights where it was notorious for the weight of people's bags and hand luggage and the amount. And usually your hand luggage is very strictly controlled, the number of items you can carry and their weight and their size. So, some flights they keep a very close eye on it, and others, like, for example, the Japanese flights, where the Japanese are wonderfully slim and light people, well below the average Western size and weight. So those flights, we were never ever concerned.
Yeah. And I think when they have done audits and we're able to actually weigh and compare with the averages that they use, it's amazingly, pretty accurate when it comes to when they've done these audits. Yeah, it doesn't look like it would. It looks like it way underestimates the weight, but I guess as they mentioned here in this article that there are certain safety margins built in to, accommodate for that. All right. Anything else? Okay. Let's continue then with the next one from Tim W. And he has sent us some audio feedback.
Hello, APG crew. Tim W. here. First time feedback / question. It was great to see many of you in Oshkosh this year. It's one of the best things about Oshkosh. I got to spend some time with various folks, some as far as the land down under. It was great attending a few podcasts live, including the #1 aviation podcast as of this recording. I'm about 11 months behind, which reminds me of a sign I saw at the sea base in Oshkosh. It read, "Interested in time travel? Meet here last Thursday at 5 p.m. So I'd like to say hello to the future me, and hopefully I'll be employed flying in some capacity by now. If not, what are you doing, man? On to my question or curiosity. I wonder about visits to destinations foreign and domestic, about venturing out and beyond the confines of the airport and its security. As pilots and crew, we have all kinds of IDs and credentials that we've earned, and many of them we've just gone through a ridiculous amount of paperwork just to obtain them. As a pilot, we're required to have some of these on us in case we're questioned by authorities, but what about venturing out to an excursion like a restaurant or an attraction or a bar, if that were to happen, of any kind of sort? Do you bring your whole wallet of credentials with you? I guess I'm specifically thinking of getting robbed or mugged and losing what you need to get back into the airport, let alone to continue on being part of the crew to continue your mission. Or do you maybe have a ringer or a less complete set? Just enough to satisfy the thief and enough that you minimize the losses? Or is this something we just don't discuss? Thanks again for everything you do to get us to the 50% mark. Hello to all in the community, and I'm wishing you all clear and a million. Tim W.
Well, Tim W., thank you very much. We just don't discuss this. Let's move on to the next item. No. Just
Yeah, I wish we could. But there we go.
So that's a good question that he poses. And I know a lot of the pilots that I fly with, and they keep their FAA licenses or certificates or cards or whatever with them, and the what do you call it, medical certificate, etc. Unrestricted radio telephone operators permit. 3 things that we're required to have with us when we're performing our duties here in the U.S. FAA required. They'll keep all those things in their wallet with all their credit cards and driver's license and all that stuff. I don't. I keep my FAA certificate and medical certificate and unrestricted radio telephone operator's permit in a separate slim wallet that I have in my backpack or flight bag or whatever I have carrying around my headset and that kind of thing. And I keep it separate. So when I go out, when I'm on a layover or between trips, and I lose my wallet, I have not lost any of those items. But maybe I'm the exception and not the rule. How about you, Steph? Do you carry it all in the same package?
It is, but that's mostly so I don't forget it when I do go to fly. Or if I end up, flying unexpectedly, like leaving from work. So there's some stuff that I
that
keep
makes sense.
there. Yeah. So that stays with my wallet usually. That's just my certificate and my medical. But if I'm out and about, so he was specifically asking about especially overseas trips and things like that. I guess it just depends on where I'm going, there are a lot of places where I'll leave very important things in the safe in a hotel, and then just venture out with the minimum that I think is necessary. And a lot of times that's mostly my phone and maybe a form of ID, because a lot of places in the world you can just pay with contactless payments, and I've got pictures of my forms of ID if need should arise, other ID.
Do you do what some people do and put like one of your shoes in the safe just so that you remember that you have something in the safe?
Yes, I have done. Usually my keys are in there, but shoe would be a better thing because although not
you could leave your keys too.
I just have a pretty good habit of sweeping the room, including the safe, before I leave.
So I never use
because
a safe.
I have left something in a safe before that required me to go back to the hotel. But fortunately, I realized it before I got too far.
Yeah. Nick Camacho, how about you? Do you carry it all in the same giant wallet with you? No.
Oh, I think he's frozen.
He's kind of shocked by that question. I guess I put him on the spot here. He was just staring at me, and it's kind of scaring me.
Not
it is
at
actually. Oh, that's better.
Right. A little bit of movement there. Okay.
Can you hear us, Nick?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. All your screens went black, so I assume.
Yeah, it was right when I was asking you about what you do, and then you just had a blank stare.
Yeah.
You were staring straight ahead and no blinking. It was very disconcerting for a moment.
Very disconcerting.
I carry everything in my wallet, and this is one of the great frustrations of my life, is that I probably have like 6 or 7 different things in my wallet that can all kind of like flow up to the government. And I don't understand, if the government needs all of these documents, why I can't just carry one thing that can count for all of this stuff.
Oh, come on. You know why.
Well,
it's the government.
It doesn't, I mean, man, I feel like it would be easier to falsify a pilot's license than it would be to, I just don't understand why we have to carry it all around, I guess is my point.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I had a government ID and everything functioned well, they should be able to sort everything else
They
out.
could just like scan it and see, okay, here's.
Well, we at Acme Airlines, if you end up going to work or somehow you lose your required credentials when you're on a trip, there is a way that the FAA, well, actually, yeah, I guess the FAA, or we just contact directly the chief pilot office, and they have all these things on file electronically that they can and they're scanned or something, like they can send it to a computer or via email. They have ways that they can kind of get around the fact that you don't have your license and medical certificate and all that kind of stuff.
But is it still a violation?
Probably.
I think it is.
Yeah. But at least they'd have proof, and that you can continue to operate the flight. It's just
because, and I don't know this for sure because I don't have either of the other two, but I am pretty sure, because I have friends, I'm pretty sure that even within the FAA, you have to, or you get separate pieces of plastic for your like manned pilot's licenses. If you have a Part 107 pilot's license, that's a separate piece of plastic. And if you have a mechanic's license, that's a separate piece of plastic.
Yeah, no, my flight engineer's engineer certificate's a separate piece of plastic than my flying stuff.
Yeah, it's a shame you can't have one, and they print all your qualifications on the one
It's like
card.
if they only had the capability to print more than one thing on the card.
They don't, though.
They
We're not
do.
in
They don't even have to print it on the card anymore. Like in the
Right.
stage of technology, it could just be encoded somehow.
Yeah,
Chip.
QR
Some
code.
QR code.
There's an app for that, right? I mean, we can just carry it on our phones.
Yeah.
What would be so
I have
difficult?
credit cards have to touch nothing. You can literally hold a credit card up to things, and it can suck all of your very valuable
What?
information off.
No way.
And yet,
Which I very much
the
appreciate.
Yet the FAA requires us to manually carry all of this documentation around.
Nick, how about you? I know you did a lot of international travel. Did you have all that stuff with you when you were out and about? Carrying on
not
in
if I
those
could
places?
possibly avoid it. And the trouble was that each country had a slightly different set of rules about what you needed to do to present. For example, in Japan, you used to fill out a little special crew, like an immigration card. And they stamped it and gave you half it back, and you had to keep it with you for the duration of your stay. And actually, if you read it carefully, it said you had to stay within the province of the airport, which wasn't as far afield as many people thought. So they used to take day trips to Tokyo, and actually they'd gone out of the province to get there, which wasn't officially legal. And because there's no photo ID on that, you also had to retain your passport with it, so that if you wanted to, you had to have that with you all the time. So if you left the hotel, you had to go with your passport. And I never liked doing that, because I, like you guys probably, I used to stuff my license, my passport, the two vital things I needed to, and my airport ID, into my uniform shoe and stick that in the safe, so that I couldn't put my uniform on without getting my shoe out, which then revealed the vital contents to get home. And always did that. But most of the time I used to have this really nice, from Wingback. They were a startup, and they made this really neat little wallet, very slim. You could stitch it yourself and save $10 or something. Black leather with embossed, very, very neat little piece of kit. And I used to carry the absolute minimum there. So, some cash, one credit card. That was the days before my watch would pay for everything. And one piece of ID, perhaps, if I thought I needed it. And leave the rest back at the hotel. But quite honestly, you're just as likely to have your hotel room robbed as you are being mugged out on the street if you're in that kind of a place. So, sometimes it's better to keep it on you, although, you do lose things, get pickpocketed, whatever. It's
But
just
the stuff that you leave at the hotel, you could just stick in that uniform shoe where you have all the other important stuff.
Yeah, but we know that
They could still rob that.
all sorts of people can get into your room and into your safe.
Steal the safe.
Exactly. Because otherwise they'd never be able to open it if you left it locked by accident. And people are always doing that. And there must be a bunch of employees around the hotel that can get into everybody's safe. So, yeah, I think you just got to go with the flow. And I always thought, if I lose it and can't operate the flight, well, that's just tough. It's not like I'm doing it on purpose. I'm just going to get a few extra days here.
Sometimes it's just life. Stuff happens.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm sorry. Just got to go with the flow.
It's not always perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
No need to stress.
Yeah. Don't get your heart rate up about it.
No.
Yeah, I think that it's something that I know that something I do is a lot of the times I'll just take like one credit card and maybe my driver's license and then just some cash and then just keep it in my pocket. And one of the things that's nice about that is I don't like just having a big giant wallet in my back pocket. And the other thing is that if for some reason somebody takes it from me, then I only have to worry about trying to get another driver's license and only have to cancel one credit card, and then I'm out the cash. Just makes life simpler instead of having like 5 or 6 credit cards and all these other things and trying to remember what is it that I had in there that I need to cancel. Yeah, it's a big mess.
The only problem was I hated using my airport ID, taking that out of the hotel. But there are a lot of clubs and pubs we went to where they would give you a discount if they knew you were at that group.
You know what I do with that? I take a picture of my ID and I keep it on in my
which
phone.
is actually, I think you'll find that might be illegal.
Well, it's probably illegal, yeah.
Sorry
no,
about
I don't
that.
do that. I don't do that. What are you talking about?
Never done that in my life. I know exactly
Yeah.
where you're coming from, though. But some doorman or whoever they go, I can't accept that.
But it
Where's
seems to
your
work
ID?
when I go to places where, like, you're staying in a hotel and you're eating there, and they give you
Ah,
like
yeah.
a 20% discount, and you just kind of
Yeah.
show them that, and that way I don't have to have my actual ID on me.
Yeah. But Nick's right. If these organisations kept up with the technology of today, we'd have it on an app on our phone, or one card would work for every qualification you've got, and better still, have a little holographic emitter that would produce an image of it that'll float above your desk. That would be quite nice.
Okay.
Chips. Just have chips injected into our.
Oh yeah, that'd be even
our
better.
arms or something.
Yeah, have a chip in your
so they could just
in your
scan
wrist.
Yeah.
And just scan.
Chip off the old
why
block.
come no
huh?
tattoo? Somebody will get that reference out there.
But actually, our whole boxes suggested we have them
Yeah, the
tattooed on
tattoos.
our backs.
Yeah, perhaps that's the reference he was going for as well.
All right. Okay. Hang on. Let me. Oh, this little window's in the way. Dang it. I'm trying to load another video, and these windows are clashing.
Want to watch out for that? Sounds nasty.
Yeah, it does. All right.
Clashing
You know
windows.
what? How much time do we have left, Liz? Oh, really? Not that. I thought we had more. I was going to do.
Did you want to do 16 and 17?
Yeah, that's what she's directing me to do. So let's do that then. Number 16. All right, this feedback is from Anonymous. Reference episode 541 and the student locking up the controls. I once had a foreign student do the opposite in a side-by-side military aircraft. At about 3 feet, the student shouted, "Inshallah!" Is that the way you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. "Inshallah!" Let go of the controls, threw his arms up. This was not the briefed method of exchanging controls. After landing, we, quote, discussed the proper method of exchanging controls and God willing us to use the skills he gave us to enact a positive outcome. I have sometimes wondered if we were issued flight helmets in the military for protection when the instructor pilots whacked us in the head with their pointers. Love listening to your shows. And again, this is from Anonymous. And so
yes, perhaps not the briefed method for positive exchange of
that would be exciting, wouldn't it? Like, no. 3 feet above the... Yeah.
And that's not culture specific because Carrie Underwood also wrote a song about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Jesus, take the wheel.
Take the wheel.
You know, get in a bind. Just give up.
Do nothing.
Yeah. But it didn't include the word inshallah.
That is correct.
Yes.
No.
Well, in a version of it, yes.
I was going to say.
Right.
It's religious.
Linguistically. Right.
Gotcha.
Linguistically, anyway, yes.
Yeah. Good point. And 17, the next one here, Spencer, also on the same subject. Hi, crew. I just had some thoughts. Wanted to send some feedback regarding episode 541 and the couple of recent crashes in Williamsburg and Santa Monica. I'm currently working as a flight instructor and mostly teaching in a Cessna 172. Like mentioned previously on the show, I think the
probable is just
okay. Like mentioned previously on the show, the probable causes of both of these accidents were caused as a result of students locking up at the controls. As a flight instructor, this is one of my biggest fears, and I would like to share just a tip of advice I've learned recently that might just save someone's life one day. In the older model 172s, and he said, I'm not sure about the new S models, the controls are actuated by cables. Ends are almost mostly connected. What is that? That's not right. What is that supposed to be?
He's got some autocorrect fails in here. Are mostly connected right above where the rudder. I don't know. So anyway, there's.
Okay, well,
Not sure what he meant to say there, but
yeah, the controls are all actuated
I
by
suspect
cables.
they are all mostly.
They are all.
Okay, they are almost all connected right above where the rudder pedals are. If you put your foot up, you can actually get your foot on a cable wheel and move it back and forth with your foot. It's directly tied to the elevator. If I ever have a student lock up, someone's leg is usually a lot stronger than someone's arm, and it could be a way you could get the nose down in a case a student is locking up with too high of a pitch attitude. Attached below is a video demonstrating how this works. Thanks for the entertaining and motivating show. Your show has really pushed me to pursue a career in aviation, and I'm excited for the future. Spencer. And he says, if anyone's in upstate New York and would love or like to plan a meetup, feel free to reach out. And he said that I could give them, or we could give them, his email address. Again, that's Spencer. So if you're interested, I know we know people up in the Syracuse area, at least a couple of APG community members up there. Tiffany's in Buffalo. And we have a few people up there in the hinterlands of upstate New York. I don't know why I said hinterlands, but I meant it in a positive way. It didn't sound that way.
Sure, he did.
Yeah. So let's see that video. All right. I don't think there's there's no sound to it. So we're looking at, I'm going to pause it here. That's the right side, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
And we're seeing the rudder pedals on the right control position, and then there's some duct work there, but right to the left of it we see this cable wheel. And let's continue the video and see if I think there's some movement here. Waiting for it. It's playing, isn't it? I think it is. Is it just a picture?
I don't know.
Well, I thought that there was motion in this video. Let me try it again. Maybe. Well, I think when I watched it before, it was moving. But apparently, however StreamYard is treating this video, it's treating it more like a still. Yeah, like a regular picture. Anyway, well, there's your picture of the cable wheel that I guess you put your foot on and push forward. Is that your understanding?
So there is motion. I'm watching the video.
Oh, it is?
It can be, so you don't see, that must be the person on the other side.
Oh, you're watching it somewhere else?
Yeah, must be the person on the sitting in the left seat pushing or pulling with their foot, but you can see the wheel move back and forth. Oh. Like the whole assembly moves forward and aft.
Okay. Well, if you want to actually see the video that actually has things moving, we'll have that in the show notes. Apparently we can't get it to work on StreamYard here today. Yeah, and it's something to keep in your hip pocket, so to speak, if you're in a situation where you run out of other ideas to regain control of the aircraft. This may save someone's life, as Spencer mentioned. Okay. Yeah, let's do one more, Liz. And yeah, we can do that. Okay. Well, Bruce was with us in the live audience earlier. I'm not sure if he's still there, but he sent this in. He has an update on his niece, Christina. He said, I've sent feedback in before highlighting the aviation activities of my niece, Christina. Thought you might be interested to know she has now achieved her dream of flying for a major airline, having recently been hired by WestJet and now type rated on the 737. She recently started as a first officer based in Toronto and is undergoing line indoc at the moment. Please see the picture attached, which was taken after her first pairing. And we're displaying that picture right now in our video. And we'll have a link in the show notes for you as well. So yes, congratulations, Christina.
Well done. Brilliant
Very
job.
good. Here, I guess I should play some applause to go with that. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. And this has been an 11-year journey for her, having started at the age of 16 toward her PPL. I was with her at Oshkosh when she purchased her first set of David Clark headphones in 2011. By the way, that year at Oshkosh...
Was that the Dave Clark 5, the group?
Yeah, they made headsets as well.
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not them. Okay. I was with her at Oshkosh when she purchased her first set. By the way, that year Oshkosh was known as Sloshkosh, as it rained nonstop and basically flooded out the campground where we were staying. In fact, when Nick and I were there in 2019, well, all of us, but when Nick and I were there early, I think people were calling it Sloshkosh 2. Because I think they delayed by a couple of days people's access to the campground. But luckily, Nick and I made it in before the big storms came through.
Yeah, we were sitting drinking beer watching the big storm.
Yeah, wondering if we were going to live through it. Actually, I don't think we really cared at that point.
No, we drank enough beer that it was actually quite good fun.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. This is, we already read that. So great to see her aviation achievements since then, as it all allows me to engage or enjoy. Here, let me try that sentence again. So great to see her aviation achievements since then, as it allows me to enjoy my AvGeek interest through her. Take care and all the best, Bruce. And Bruce is here. She already has some good stories, he says. I bet she does. All right. We do appreciate that. You know what? Let's do 15 as well, because they took the time to send us this meetup feedback, and then we'll wrap it up. Number 15. Captain Jeff, Liz, and crew, I had the great pleasure of meeting up. This is from Keith Carlson, and he says he had the great pleasure of meeting up with Tim Qualls last weekend at the North Little Rock, Arkansas Air Show. Tim and I have been trying to meet up for some time. My company sponsored the VIP tent at the air show this year, so I had the opportunity to invite Tim up, see the show, and make new friends. Tim and I also got to spend some time in my Technem P2008 and recorded some audio feedback for the show. Captain Jeff, let us know next time you'll be coming through Little Rock, and Tim and I would absolutely love the opportunity to take you out for lunch or dinner. Happy tailwinds, everyone. Keith,
how do you go through a rock?
It's a little rock.
Oh, okay. So you don't even stub your toe. Must be pretty small.
Actually, though, it'd be easier to go through a big rock if it had a big hole in it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway, let's listen to their audio feedback.
Hey everybody, it's Keith Carlson from Little Rock, and then I got the chance to meet up with my great buddy Tim Qualls, who everybody knows. Tim came up today down from Mount Ida to North Little Rock. My company, we sponsored the VIP tent at the North Little Rock Air Show, and I had a pass, so reached out to Tim, said come on up. Tim got to check out our airplane. So Tim and I are both sitting in my Technem P2008, who I've talked about a little bit on the show. And Tim, what do you think? How was the air show?
The show was really good. I was actually very impressed with it.
Yeah.
And happy to be here. I want to thank you for the pass.
Oh,
VIP pass.
100%.
For letting me check out your plane. He's got a very nice plane, y'all. Very nice. I haven't got to go up in it yet. That's going to happen at some point.
Yep.
But it's a very nice plane.
Yeah, we had a great time, and it was awesome getting to meet Tim. I think Tim had reached out through Liz for us to connect a couple months ago, and so we've been texting a lot, and so finally got a chance to get together. We're going to get to go fly at some point. We definitely want to extend the invitation to Captain Jeff. Let us know next time you're in Little Rock, and have a little extended layover. Send me or send Tim an email, and we'll coordinate something. Try to get dinner or lunch. Yep. Make it happen. Absolutely, yeah. So, anyways, Tim and I just wanted to say hi to everybody. And finally, it's my first time recording some audio feedback. So, take it away, Tim.
Well, for a guy who doesn't like to do, send in audio feedback, this is 2 times this year I've had to do it.
I know.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with everybody. Want me to do audio. But,
well, I tell you, I heard yours where you were down in Atlanta and met up with Captain Jeff, and I realized that at that moment I said, I'm on the spot now. I got to do some audio feedback. So I said, I better have you come up so we can pull you in. That's right. Yeah. So, well, anyways, we just wanted to say hi to everybody. APG meetup here, mini APG meetup here in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Tim. It's great to finally meet you.
You too.
And yeah, Captain Jeff, let us know next time you're in the area, and say hi, hey to Nick and Liz and Nick Camacho and Dr. Steph, Captain Nick. I'm sure forgetting someone else. So
that Rick
anyways,
guy.
from Northwood, Arkansas.
It's okay. He's not here today.
Hope everybody has a great afternoon, evening, whatever it is. So, yeah. All right. We'll talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye. We'll say bye, Tim.
See y'all later.
All right. See ya.
All right, that's great. Oh, by the way, this is the first couple that has used with success Liz's new APG community dating app. What's the name of it? Cinder? No. Meetup. Meetup. That's the name
Just
of it
Meetup.
she's calling. We'll have to come up with a better name.
Send
But
your
anyway,
suggestions.
thank you, Liz, for kind of connecting the two and giving them the opportunity to meet up together at the North Little Rock Air Show, and then we benefited from hearing about their experience. So see, it just goes to show you
Brilliant.
that you don't have to have one of the APG crew there to do an APG meetup.
No.
So
And it sounds like they were
Absolutely
having a
right.
fantastic time. So
By the way, I was in Little Rock just about 10 days ago, but since you only invited Jeff for lunch or dinner, I didn't say anything.
Oh,
which Little Rock was that?
Kidding.
The one in Arkansas?
Arkansas, Little Rock, yeah.
Not your Kansas. Okay. I guess that's going to be it. We still have some great feedback lined up, and but this is should be about where we would end the show normally. Put all together. Okay, Liz, she's going to leave her control room now and appear with us in the on the big screen.
She can only come if she brings Poppy.
Well, I don't know if she has Poppy. She's looking around. Maybe she'll have Poppy with her when she pops in. Oh, she does. I see it. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about ways that you can keep in touch with the community. You can go to our website. There's Poppy right there on the screen. Aw, such a cute dog. Anyway, airlinepilotguy.com is the website. Lots of good stuff. And it's working. Bonus. Where you can learn more about the crew and the community. We got a community calendar. We have a community
Don't be so
library.
modest, Jeff. You fixed the website all by yourself. I think that bears suggestion.
Thank you.
mention.
Oh, it's just like I've gotten so far away from doing IT kind of stuff and trying to understand how all this stuff works in the background. And then when I was confronted with trying to fix this thing, I'm going, I don't remember exactly all these DNS name server things and how they all work. And I just kind of took a stab in the dark and connected one with the other, and it seemed to have worked. So, yeah.
Are you giving yourself a raise now?
I'm going to give myself a raise, yes. And
50%, I should say.
Yeah, 50%. Anyway, the website's there, and check it out. And I'm really, really happy that it didn't sink into the digital ocean. The company that hosts the actual WordPress website, because Nick has done a heck of a lot of work on the Plain Tales section of the site. And I'm not sure if you have, I hope you have some of that backed up somewhere.
No, I don't have any of that. Well, I've got some of the Plain Tales backed up, but
okay.
that is the most complete
the audio.
record.
Yeah, the audio is safe because that's with a different company where we have our originals and backups of all the shows, the episodes, and all the Plain Tales and all that kind of stuff. It's just that all the show notes, all the extra stuff that you put in to support your Plain Tales, if people are interested in that,
a lot of work.
Would have been gone. So anyway,
that would have been
we're
so
going to Arash and I are going to come up with a way to kind of make it a little bit more bulletproof and maybe have another source of a backup so that if something like that happens, yeah, exactly, a disaster recovery plan. Anyway, enough of that. We're also on social media, or what I like to call the social meds. Take it away, Steph.
We are on the social medias. kind of a combination of the social medias and social medias.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what I was trying to say.
Nobody knows what they're trying to say on this show.
I know. It's all part of the course. Anyway, we are on Facebook. That's one of the social media sites. It's facebook.com/airlinepilotguy. You can also head over to Twitter. We're at APG Crew, and I think find all of our individual Twitter handles pinned to the top of that page as well. And then Instagram, neglected, perhaps one day to be brought back,
revitalized.
Revitalized per se. We're APG Crew there as well. But all the cool kids hang out on Slack, or at least so I'm told.
That's what we've been told. And let's see. Here we go. Let me see if we can hear. I do hear the water running. Hey, Hillel, can you do Slack for us? That's okay. We're used to it. Come on over here. Tell us all about Slack.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas. We suggest episode and plain tales topics. We plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com, or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thanks a lot, Hillel. We always appreciate all the work that you.
What
did he say?
I could barely hear
your
that.
bathroom got farther away.
What did you say?
Not hearing him.
Yeah, I know. Hang on.
Is it gone down the plug hole?
There we go. It's very, very faint. Sorry.
Is he in the guest house?
Yeah, he's in a different bathroom than he's normally in. You know what? I need to have a louder version of that. Okay, let me do this. This will all be fixed in post, of course. I can bump this up another 100%. Let's see what happens.
Jeff, would you loofah my back again?
Maybe later. Did you hear that at all?
Loofah is back.
Okay. Well, never mind. Let me play something else.
Come back, Jeff. You missed a spot.
Had that.
Later. Okay. Well, he's sharing way too much.
Yeah.
I do get lonely.
Slack is a place for sharing, though, so it makes sense.
It is. It's a place for sharing. And also, we'd like to take the opportunity to thank Liz, our producer, for all the hard work that she does in the background.
My pleasure.
We do so appreciate you, Liz. And Poppy, of course, as well. And with that, we're going to sign off and hope that you'll join us again on our next episode. Wishing you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Talons, Douglas.
Cheers, y'all.
Back to 5 hours next week.
See y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
We love you.
North
I
Americans,
love you.
Turn your clocks back tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
American.
yeah. Well, for those of you watching
North
live.
America.
Yeah, North America. Turn your clocks backwards. Fall
Except for
back.
Arizona and Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah.
What do they do?
And
Go
maybe-
forwards.
They're the only sensible
just
ones.
don't-
They never change
just
their
go.
clocks.
We're not playing.
Yeah. I wish we didn't.
I wish that we didn't. I think
It really
more and
does
more.
amaze
We
me
won't
that
have to.
that
I
no,
think it's- yeah.
considering that this is political season, that no politician has really rallied around that, because
Yeah.
it seems like that would be such an easy win, because
I think
everybody
so,
hates
wouldn't
it.
you?
Every single person that has an opinion on it
Hates
hates it.
What about the daylight saving lobby? That's a big lobby out there, just second to the NRA.
Oh, by the way,
Just
Liz,
kidding. I made
I'm
that
sure
up.
you
Yes, sir.
realise British winter time is not a thing.
Oh, I didn't.
I was
That
going to
was a
see how
joke.
long that went on for before you corrected her.
I
but-
didn't realize that. So what's the right
Sorry.
terminology? What's
I
the
hope
right
it's
thing to
British.
say?
I hope
Sounds
it's
good,
British
doesn't
Standard
it?
Time
British
and
summer
British
time,
summer
British
time.
winter time. No, we
So
just
what
go
should I
back to
say?
GMT
What is it called?
or UTC, whichever you prefer.
It's
Okay,
not
so you
called.
don't-
So you don't call it. So it's British summertime, but not British.
You don't have
just
like British
British
Standard Time or anything?
No, we don't.
Because it's
no.
GMT.
No.
Okay.
Because we go back
the
to
same.
zero. Yeah.
Oh, because they have the
GMT.
Greenwich.
UTC.
Yeah.
Nobody else does.
And by the way, I did have a previous match on my dating site. It was Mohammed and a lady in the UK that helped him with
that's
his
right.
English.
Oh,
They
that's right.
did,
So it
yes,
wasn't
absolutely.
the first
It was
successful
not
match.
the first. There've been a couple of others.
Darn it, we'll
but
have
that
to
was one-
correct that in the next episode.
That was a memorable one.
Yeah.
Erratum.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's clear that she did some amazing work with
Yeah.
Muhammad's English. Yeah.
Now, title time.
By the way,
We don't have any-
I noticed
Go ahead.
Bruce's. Well, what
Niece.
was
Niece?
his relation with the
Niece.
lady
His
who's
niece.
the
Niece.
pilot?
His
Niece.
Niece.
Is already a senior first officer. She's got 3 stripes already, so she's doing well.
That's kind of
Well,
how
see,
it works
in-
here. We don't have
yeah,
2
here in
stripes
the-
officers.
I think it's just a first officer, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
You're just a first officer.
Yeah, we don't
So
have 2
have two.
stripes.
Oh,
3 or 4.
how odd.
No.
Or that guy that
it's-
had 20.
No, that's normal.
Some of the don't some
No,
of the
you're
cabin
odd.
crew wear epaulets with 2 stripes?
Some
Yeah,
airlines,
some
I think. Yeah.
some airlines uniforms, flight attendant uniforms have stripes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take
so
it back
let's
then.
Let's talk titles. Let's talk show titles here.
Oh,
I
sure.
don't
Yeah.
have anything really good here, but I thought we could do something with the dancing issue, the dancing episode with Mohammed, like Dancing for Joy or
The only
APG
things I had
Disco or.
from today were
I
crushed
dance well.
cotton ball cloud dioramas.
Oh,
And I imagine it
yeah.
being crushed by a naked grown
Nerd.
man.
By a nerd.
Oh. Very good, Steph.
I don't know.
I love
I
that.
had something. Well, of course, we have the whole naked pilot episode. I don't know whether Nick wants to tackle that.
Oh, I am sure Nick wants to tackle that. I think
I'm
the
sure he
question is
does.
the rest.
But do we want him to? And then
Absolutely.
I had something around APG is so Mickey Mouse. Something around the Mickey Mouse thing.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
You know what? I mentioned it during the show. They said, MM, and they said Metro.
Metro.
Yes, yes. Instead
What
of Mike,
phonetic
Mike.
alphabet is that?
I don't know. Was it ever Metro?
An old phonetic alphabet?
Well, I did
Maybe.
a whole
Ever?
plain tale about it. You'll have to go and listen to
Yeah.
it.
I don't ever
Do we have to?
remember Metro. Do you want me to look up that? When is that?
No.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, I remember all the different, phonetic alphabet standards and stuff. But maybe Metro was like an older one back in the 60s or 70s.
Wasn't there a series of books like The Naked Ape and The Naked Something Else? So The Naked Pilot would be in that series? Did any of you read The Naked Ape?
There was Planet of the Apes and stuff like that.
No, The Naked Ape was
I don't
a
think
thing
so.
about the human
About
behavior.
evolution? Oh.
Oh, bye, Steffi.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
All right.
It's
Just
lunchtime,
Okay, so
and honestly,
just,
if I don't
just
eat
let us
soon,
know
I'm probably going to...
let us know about next week when you can.
Yes, I was trying to hang out for that, but next week
Well, go
looks
ahead.
problematic most days. So as usual.
What?
So,
Really?
Just for
which I
change.
will
Oh,
I will
man.
let you know when I am actually available, but I don't know
Okay.
that I don't know. Let me know what works for you guys. We'll see how it
Well,
goes.
Okay.
can't we just ask you to stay on the show for another 2 hours? You can do your bit for the next show now.
I should, yes.
Yeah.
Except I will
I'll-
pass
I'll-
out from lack of food consumption today because I did not eat any breakfast before we started this morning,
okay.
and I am being summoned to lunch now. So.
Worse.
All right.
Bye.
Worse.
Steph.
Bye, worse.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. What's
Okay.
this? Bollywood meets. Where did that just
APG.
disappeared? Bollywood meets APG.
Except it wasn't really
an idea.
Bollywood. It was like
No.
Kurdish and Iraqi dancing. So
Yeah.
a little bit off there. But
I don't want to make fun of Mo's
Naked
dancing.
and the
I think
Dead?
it's fine
Yeah.
dancing.
I loved his dance.
So-
That's why I just sort of thought Dancing for Joy kind of was.
Yeah, I've got plenty to go with.
Okay.
The Mickey Mouse show might be a good one. Except we've just had the Dead Parrot show, so But I
How's
still
that
like
connected?
it.
APG's still Mickey Mouse.
Oh, the show. Okay.
No,
Gotcha.
the show.
No, that's all right.
But-
We can make that a standard thing.
Okay,
Like every
right. There'll have
like
to be something show
the one
now.
where what is it? Is it Friends with the way they titled their episodes? The one where Monica,
Yeah,
blah blah
that's
blah.
true. The one with the naked pilot. No, I can fit a naked pilot, a cotton wool diorama, and Mickey Mouse all into one artwork.
And somebody
I'm sure.
dancing. Good.
I'm sure we can put somebody dancing in there. Naked,
Okay, everybody.
naked pilot dancing.
Excellent.
Ending the broadcast. Thanks for
All
joining
right,
us
ending
on
broadcast.
a Saturday.
Thanks everybody. Yeah, enjoy your
Bye.
weekend.